Oh, where to put the final book? Oh, brilliant. Well, I did it. I completed the bookshelves. I have all the books I need. Oh no.
You thought your shelves were full. A fool's hope.
Oh, Ed, we've got an emergency. Oh, we've got too many books. Let's talk about our fancy TBR. Let's talk about books, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Books on the shelf. I feel like Glee. Welcome back to the video. As that showed, we're today talking about our fancy TBR pile. It's dangerous. It is an actual emergency. The room is filled up with books. We're tripping over them. There's safety hazards and there is not enough room on the shelves, but the sacrifice is worth it for a great reading experience. So today we're here to we're here to talk about some of our fancy TBR that we are most looking forward to. I made the hazardous mistake of logging onto Goodreads, and it's the end of the year. It was the end right there. And I was thinking, what books did I want to read this year, but I haven't got around to. And then I realised, you know, the crushing kind of finality of it, the fact that I haven't got through the books I really wanted to, but I've got through so many others. Yeah, Ed, haven't you read like 120 books this year? Hey, look, I don't like to brag. Come on. I only mention it in every video. I mean, I would never mention it twice though. That is a good point. That would be bragging. You have dignity. I only mention it once a video. Cheers, mate. And so let's get straight into the fantasy TBR. Ed, do you want to talk about your first book that you really want to read that is part of the fantasy genre? The first fantasy book I want to read next year, or this is the first of our video, is definitely Sister Song by Lucy Holland. This is an Arthurian retelling, but I think with a kind of a feminist twist, which I'm very interested to see how that plays out. Lucy Holland is, by all means, a great writer from what I've heard, especially from Dad's point of view, and he's a big fan of Lucy Holland. And I'm really intrigued to see how her Arthurian tale plays out, because I love me some Arthur and some Merlin, and if you've read the Warlord Chronicles, some Derval, Cadan, and it's a fantastic period. It's the when Romans have left Britain. Britain feels a bit apocalyptic. It's quite post-apocalyptic, that kind of feeling that the Romans have left, and now the Britons are left to their own devices with the incoming hordes of the Saxons coming towards Britain to take over. So yeah, one book that's been on my list for a long time. I got this release day. That's why I've got it as hardback. And it's a beautiful book as well. And you know, it's definitely got Macbeth vibes with that cover, isn't it? It does. It screams Macbeth vibes. Wow, it could whisper. Might whisper. You know, positively cool. Yeah, there's that option as well. Yeah, it is blue after all. If it was red, it would be screaming. It would be screaming. So that's my first one. Thank you very much for that, Ed. First up, I have some rereading for 2023 fantasy, and that is Assassin's Apprentice. But this doesn't just represent Assassin's Apprentice. This represents the realm of the Elves. I'm doing my reread, and yes, of course, that would begin with Assassin's Apprentice. Is this the reread that's going to, you know, include the live ship traders? Because, you know, no self-respecting Robin Hobb fan would read, you know, all about Fitz and then skip the live ship traders. That is very true. Is that true? Am I telling the truth? Leave it to your brother to throw you in the deep end and expose your misdeeds. So yes, I did not read. Someone's got to. Yes, I have not read Live Ship Traders. I hold my hands up and the book up, and I'll be rectifying that mistake. See, I am embarking on a journey to make up for the mistakes of past Will. I'm a new person. You can't compare me to old Will. New me, new you, I was going to say. But yeah, so that is Assassin's Apprentice, book one of the TBR. Incredible series, character-driven. I'm a character-driven reader, and this is a character-driven book. Is that your favourite Robin Hobb book? No, it is not. Is it your least favourite? No, it is not. Probably my second... I won't ask you anymore, okay? It's not all about Robin Hobb, this video. Second to last. Last favourite, yeah. What? 5 stars. There's only one book I've read by Robin Hobb that I did not give 5 stars. Book 3. Of the first trilogy. I've read 9 books by her, and the other 8 have 5 stars. I might join you in that. Can I pencil in a Robin Hobb read? Please, Ed. But you read so quick. No, I don't have to. I will leave it. You're not going to talk about it. And haven't you read more books than me? Yeah, but they were mostly comics. Wink, wink. The next one for me is, you know, it must be
Babel. Baby Bell.
Baby Bell.
Babel. Babel.
Babel.
Babel.
Babel.
Babel. By R.F.
It doesn't
Kuang.
sound like a word.
This is a dark academia fantasy that I think is going to be big. I think it's going to be a big hit, actually.
Maybe.
I'm hoping some people on Goodreads notice this one because
You are taking a leap of faith with that, Ed.
Yeah, I know. I haven't seen any reviews actually, so I don't know if I'm going to like
It's definitely
this.
not a review on my channel.
I don't really know. Who had 3.5 minutes before he mentioned his own channel?
Oh,
all right, we get
Ed.
it. Look, we've had a secession. It's
Have
fine.
you watched my video? My review of it?
Yeah, I did actually.
You did?
You liked it.
I did like it.
You loved it. Your favourite R.F. Kuang book out of the two you've read. To be
Yes,
fair.
out of the two I've read.
But
big.
I've really enjoyed the Poppy War so far. We shall be reading book 3 very soon, The Burning God, and I'm really intrigued to see where R.F. Kuang has gone after that. And is this a standalone? I believe this is a standalone.
Historical fantasy standalone.
And I'm really excited to see what her writing is like because I always get the feeling when I'm reading the Poppy War, like she has a lot more to give, even though she's definitely a good writer, but I think there's definitely a lot more within her. She's got a very interesting way of developing character, so I really am looking forward to seeing how this plays out as well. And I'm definitely excited because it is probably the biggest fantasy release of the year, I reckon. I can't think of any bigger so far, and it did fantastically well on the Goodreads Awards, 65,000 votes or something like that.
I'd say only Fairy Tale, but Stephen King doesn't count.
No, I mean,
and Legends and Lattes.
It's no Sarah J. Maas book, is it?
No, because that is huge. But
is it? What, 1,000 pages? 1,200?
Very funny, yeah, it's very funny.
6 foot tall?
But Legends and Lattes, I would say, would contend with it perhaps with popularity for most popular fantasy book of the year.
Really?
It's got like 20,000 ratings on Goodreads.
But the Goodreads Award doesn't suggest that though.
No, but it didn't include it.
Yes, it did.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it did.
It came like 8th, I think.
Wow.
Something like that.
Crikey.
It was on there. So yeah, because I thought, oh, brilliant, that's good. Good old Travis Baldry.
And he's just been published by Tor.
Yes, he has. And is there a nice special edition?
There is a nice special edition. The Broken Binding.
Ah, who works them?
Oh, I do.
What channel?
What channel?
Yeah, William Gwynne.
Oh, right.
Tried to help you out.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, think about that there. Next up, I have Crownbreaker by Sebastian de Castell. Next year, early next year.
This is the last one.
Yep. Next year, I am going to be trying to wrap up a lot of series that I've only got 1 book left, or 2 books left. Yeah. So Saxon Stories and Crownbreaker are just 2.
Have you finished
examples?
The Greatcoat series?
Yes, I have.
You finished it?
So I'll be reading this and then Sebastian de Castell's new release.
Yeah.
When it comes out early
next
year.
We've been waiting for this for like 3 years.
Yeah, so after this I would have read 10 books by Sebastian de Castell.
Whoa. Who's your most read author?
Bernard Cornwell, I believe.
Really? Not Harbin Rob?
Actually, David Eddings. I've read 12, 15 books by Bernard Cornwell.
Haven't you read 13 by Robin Hobb?
No. There's 16 in the Realm of the Eldlings, but I only read the 3 trilogies. So I've read 9. Exposing me.
Only 9.
And I've read 9 books by Sebastian de Castell.
Wow. That's a lot.
Obviously Spiderwick Chronicles.
Yeah.
13
Beast
books.
Quest.
Beast Quest, yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, David Eddings 16 books. 17 books.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot, Will.
That is a lot. So yeah, that is Crownbreaker. Really looking forward to finishing this series. The conclusion to the Spellslinger. So it is YA, but it's like Shattered Sea by Joe Abercrombie was YA. It doesn't mean it's got those typical YA tropes that we assign to it. But it's just less adult than their other series are, which has a lot of swearing.
I mean,
more
YA
violence.
has a bad rep in terms of fantasy readers, I think, doesn't it? Especially, obviously, I made that joke about Sarah J. Maas, which obviously I haven't read Sarah J. Maas, so I don't know whether she's good or great or rubbish, but or in between. But at the same time, YA is absolutely huge, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think people find a comfort in reading YA as well, and it has a lot to offer. I think that when I've ever read YA, they're always, I'm always entertained. They're always fun. They're always a lot deeper than what they originally seem.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that is painted with just the same brush, isn't it? Whereas like fantasy, look how varied that can be. You can go from Malazan to Kings of the Wild.
It's true.
In YA, you can go from Sarah J. Maas to
some people refuse to read fantasy, don't they? Because they're like, they're a bit snobby. So we shouldn't be snobby about. Yeah.
Let's begin the movement.
More YA.
More YA.
But less winners than the Goodreads Award for YA. Should be in its own category.
What should?
YA.
Oh, because Sarah J. Maas' one that one isn't
fantasy.
YA.
Well, that one's
that's adult.
What do I know? I'm just a teacher. The next one for me is Anthony Ryan's The Pariah. This is, I think, the Covenant, the Swords of the Covenant of Steel. There we go. This series, and I'm really looking forward to reading this because I absolutely love Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. I haven't read any of his other books because I kind of treated Bloodsong like a standalone, which I think it was originally written as, really. But I'm really excited to get to The Pariah because William really enjoyed it this year.
Got Robin
year,
Hood vibes.
Robin Hood, very nice. And I'm also stoked because I saw the most recent cover art, which blew my mind. For the Traitor. So I am very much looking forward to reading that in 2023, which is going to be a big year in many ways. Which is exciting. So The Pariah by Anthony Ryan is definitely high up on my list. And Anthony Ryan's a great guy. He's another Orbit author. We absolutely love Orbit. They crush it with the covers, with the authors, and the writing.
Nice, Ed.
Cheers.
Everything comes in 3. Everything good comes in 3, doesn't it, Ed?
It does. It does.
It always comes in 3, doesn't it? Next up, I have Prince of Thorns by Mark Lawrence. So, The Broken Empire. It's been a long time coming. I've read 3, 6, 8 books by Mark Lawrence. All of them 5 stars.
Hang on. I disagree. I believe you're working your way backwards. I think you should do the Red Queen's.
No, because you meant to have read this first.
No, I don't think so.
I'm going to.
You're not going to take advice from your old brother while you're rubbing your eye.
Old brother.
I can actually hear
you didn't
your
say
eye
older.
watering then. That wasn't a nice sound.
With the creaking in it.
It was creaking, yeah.
It was
squeaking. It's like Count Olaf's.
It would feel wrong because they're set in the same world, the first 2 trilogies, aren't they?
The same what?
I can't say it properly. Weld. After I've just been mocked, I'm going to carry on.
Your hair looks very cold today.
I can't say it any other way.
Mate, it's all right. There's always things we can't say.
Just can't.
Don't worry.
But Prince of Thorns, book 1 of the Broken Empire trilogy. I'm really looking forward to it. I've loved Mark Lawrence's writing, and he's meant to be brilliant at his creations. So yes, and the main character Jorgan Krath is inspired by Alex from A Clockwork Orange, which I thought was a brilliant book. Alex is a detestable, despicable human being, but he is very charismatic and very interesting and engaging to follow. So I'm looking forward to following another despicable character who is a anti-hero, isn't he?
Yeah.
In this Grimdark series.
It's a good arc, Jorg. So it's good. And Mark Lawrence's writing is fantastic. And the next one for me is going to be Richard Swann's, another Orbit author. Richard Swann's The Justice of Kings. There is book 2 coming out next year. The cover for that looked also absolutely amazing. I think I'm probably a very shallow, person, really. And I'm happy to admit it because a good cover, it will make me read your book and,
I wouldn't call that shallow. I'd say that you're very easily influenced, maybe. In a good way.
It was a joke,
William. Where it makes you optimistic.
Because we all judge book by its covers. That's why it's a common saying. You judge them by their covers.
I do.
Don't you? I don't think you're shallow. I think you're easily influenced.
You are. You fully admitted
that
when you read Saxon Stories, you wanted to be Uhtred. And you wanted to
What's that got to do with the cover?
I don't know. Influenced.
The covers...
You're influenced.
Right, okay. So I'm not an influencer, I'm an influencee. Okay, so there is a book on this list that the cover, probably I think even the author would say it sucks. So I will be getting to that very soon. So maybe I'm not as shallow as you clearly thought. Anyway, The Justice of Kings is meant to be really good. William really enjoyed it last year. This year, I don't know when you read it. Feels like we're not even in the year. We're just in December.
Well, this came out in 2022.
2022. There we go then. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard great things about Richard Swann's writing and his pacing as well. I think is going to be a big hit for me. So I'm really looking forward to reading this and getting to book 2 in 2023.
Very snazzy. Next up, I have Jade City by Fonda Lee. I started reading this, but I don't have a Kindle, so I was reading it on Kindle, but off my laptop, and it was just horrible reading it off that screen. So the book, I was enjoying it. I got about, I think, 100 pages through, but I just couldn't carry on because of the screen. So I just dropped it, and I thought I'd come back to it later on. And so, yes, Jade City will be very high up in my imminent future fantasy TBR list.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the interview that Mike Book Reviews did with Fonda Lee.
Yes, and I'm very happy you enjoyed it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he had good things to say.
And hopefully it makes
that trilogy.
Hopefully it makes me want to go to read The Godfather.
The Obsidian? Is it about? Oh no, it's obviously not about Obsidian. It's about Jade, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be another series.
It must be about emeralds.
I guess it's about the Sapphire books. But the next one for me is going to be The Forgotten Moon, which is by
I've been meaning to get to this for so long. Can I join you for this?
Lee Durfee. Yes, you can join
Thank
me.
you.
Brian Lee Durfee, if you haven't checked it out, go look at his YouTube channel. He's absolutely
It's a great
hilarious.
channel.
And he has kind of a kindred, I think, with Dad, because they are both, they're both bald men. And they've both written books that people say are fairly similar. They definitely get Faith from the Fallen
Similar
vibes
themes.
when they read. I can't remember what the trilogy's name. Lonesome. No. I can't remember what it is now, but I love the covers for these books. The Forgotten Moon. I think the most recent one was The Blackest Heart. Which is
and the
great
third one, I
title
think
as well.
the finale comes out very soon.
Yes,
I
it
think.
does, and they are big. Big books. I think I could probably, if I dropped it on, a kneecap, it could shatter. Dropped it on, an elbow, it wouldn't be funny as when you do. Bang
It wouldn't be funny.
bone. No.
Yeah.
Maybe to other people, but I think it would hurt a lot more than usually it does.
And I was watching Matt's fantasy book reviews talking about this series, and it's made me want to pick it up as well.
Very nice. So yeah, we would absolutely love to read this. We'll have to do that as a trilogy next year on the channel.
That is a good idea.
Maybe we can have a chat about it with some other booktubers, because I know that Mike Book Reviews is definitely interested in it as well. Whether he's
reading it.
He's reading it. There we go.
I think he's on book
he must
2.
be really interested in it.
I think he's on book
reading
2.
book 2. So there we go then.
So there we go.
So there we go. And on to you.
Next up, I have a chunky chunk of royal book. This is one that Matt's fantasy book reviews actually didn't enjoy as much. But this is The Shadow of
I
What Was
looked
Lost.
at the colour then, and I thought it was The Shadow of the Gods.
Oh,
and
right,
I was
yeah.
going to say, oh, sorry, Matt. But luckily I didn't.
No, you don't have to threaten
No,
them.
no.
But yeah, so this is The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. Epic fantasy. It's meant to be a bit reminiscent of The Wheel of Time early on, but then diverge into its own unique story. And so sadly, Matt's fantasy book reviews didn't enjoy it as much, but I've heard some great things from other readers. Mike's book reviews, not Max. Gosh, Mike's book reviews has really enjoyed the whole series. So yes, I'm really looking forward to these. I've got the special editions from the Broken Binding. So when you've got 3 chunky books on the shelf and they're all special editions of a series, you have to dive into it, don't you? It's like The Winnowing Flame will be on my list to read next year, hopefully, because I've got special editions of that series, The Winnowing Flame by Jen Williams.
Very nice. And the next one for me is going to be Heroes Die by Matthew Stover. And this is highly recommended to me from, firstly, the great Petrick from Petrick Leo. And also it's been recommended to me by Friends Talking Fantasy podcast, Dylan and Charles over there. They love this book. And I think it is a book that has the worst rep for the front cover. Have you seen the front cover?
No, I haven't.
Heroes Die. It does look like a kind of a Morrowind fan fiction kind of thing. But
is there a third point?
No, just
put them down them.
Yeah. But for me, I'm really excited to read this because it is meant to be quite a little bit of a dark fantasy. But
Heroes Die. I do like that name.
Yeah, it's a cool name.
It's like Even the Brave Will Fall.
It's like Never Die by think Rob J. Hayes.
Yeah, but I like the twist.
Obviously,
heroes,
cover aside, I think this book's going to be a really big hit for me. I think it's not a standalone. I think there are other books after it, but Heroes Die is very popular and it can read as a standalone, a little bit like Bloodsong by Anthony Ryan. So I'm really looking forward to checking that out. And from what I've heard, it sounds like the style will definitely gel with me, and it's one that I've wanted to read for quite a while. I've just haven't got round to it, so I definitely will very soon.
Very nice, Ed. And I've got actually, it's up there. I've wrote it down because I don't have physical books. I've never read The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. So Papa Gwynne read The Magician's Nephew to me when I was quite young. I really enjoyed it, but I never read the rest of the series, which is detestable for me.
Yeah.
Yes,
shameful.
So it is shameful.
So you haven't read The Life Ship Traders and you haven't read Narnia.
You can't say about Life Ship because you've not read it either.
A bit of you.
But have you read all of Narnia?
Yes.
Wow. Did you enjoy them?
Yes.
So I genuinely didn't really.
There are some in the middle that blend a little bit, obviously, as I was a child, and they're not as exciting. But Last Battle, fantastic. Magician's Nephew, Prince Caspian. Do
you think I'll
Voyage
enjoy
of the
them?
Dawn Treader. I think you will enjoy them. Obviously, if you go into it thinking they are children's literature. And yeah, but I'm interested to see what you think of them, because I'd definitely like to. I was going to reread the Book of Three, the Lord Alexander's series. So I'm interested to see what we think of reading those books that are meant for children as well. Yeah, exactly. But obviously Narnia, for you love the films. You'd never had to put up with the BBC TV show.
I did. We had to watch it at school for some reason.
What?
I know.
So they put you in the chokey as well, basically.
It was terrible, wasn't it?
It's disgusting.
It was really bad.
It was really
It was really bad.
It was all. I mean,
the series.
I actually preferred the Lord of the Rings cartoon over.
Oh, Ed, that is a stretch.
You know when Sam slaps himself?
It's when the ring wraith gets off the horse. You know, when all the hobbits are hiding.
Yeah.
And then it levitates. That got me.
It's just not realistic in a fantasy cartoon.
It's just not realistic. It's the cartoon works. It's the levitating. So I
don't like Star Wars. It's not realistic.
Why does the immortal character levitate? So unrealistic. So yeah, that is Narnia.
And the last one for me is a classic. I had to get a classic on there, and it is The Princess Bride by William Goldman. And I don't know how I've gone this long without actually physically reading The Princess Bride. I absolutely adore the film. I could probably quote it until... I was going to think of a quote. Until the rodents of unusual size come home.
I don't think that word means what do you think it means.
Inconceivable. It's inconceivable. I haven't read it. I should have said that.
Oh, you had such a good chance.
That was brilliant.
It's not a kissing book, is it?
It's not. I hope not. I hope it's not a kissing book. I can't handle any more of them.
But there is going to be a six-fingered man.
Okay. Should we carry on or?
No, I think that's enough.
As you wish. Oh! I got there.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much. Game, set, match.
That was really good. Because you worked in a response.
Yeah,
I respect that.
Thank you.
I highly respect that.
But I can't wait to read The Princess Bride. It's going to be very exciting for me. Obviously, for you guys as well.
Obviously, that's why you're reading it.
You
have to let me know if it's good.
For the masses.
Just let me know if
I
it's
will.
good.
I'm sure you'll probably see my review when we talk on the channel.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
If you haven't started a third channel by now.
Oh, stop it. So yeah, that is all our fantasy TBR. Well, not all, but a small section of what is the priority.
Have you not got the last one? I've done 7, you've done 6. What about the one that's written on that card?
I have The Garden of Empire by J.T. Greathouse. So we're not done yet. Not quite. This is the sequel to The Hand of the Sun King.
Good job you've got someone here, you know?
This is the sequel to The Hand of the Sun King, which was really enjoyable, fresh, unique fantasy. I love a story which is about a conflict of identity. If you look at the Saxon stories with Uhtred, son of Uhtred, son of Uhtred, son of Uhtred of Bebenberg. Yes, so that conflict of identity, that he's born a Saxon, raised a Dane. There's a similar scenario, but in a fantasy setting in this, where there's an empire, let's call it the Roman Empire. It's a bit like that, but a very different culture, and they're taking over, say, what the Celtic tribes are. Again, very different culture in this, very unique, but it's kind of that premise. And this character's father, say, is part of the empire, but they're assimilating colonies and taking away their own culture, but his mother and the rest of that family are of the Celtic tribes and that kind of ideas and those religious beliefs and those magic systems. So there's that conflict, and yeah, it causes a very interesting story. And I won't say much more because spoilers, and we don't want any of them, do we?
No,
but yes, I loved the first one, and I'm really looking forward to reading book 2.
Thank you so much for watching our video on the Brothers Gwynne channel today. It's been really exciting to talk about what fantasy books we are hoping to read very soon, which obviously will be pushed into 2023 because we are at the end of the year. So yes, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we're really excited to read those books. Please let us know in the comments below what books you shall be reading, what fantasy ones specifically you shall be reading, and it is an emergency because we need more fantasy.
This is a lot of fun.
This is so much. It's too much fun. If anything.
It is too much fun, but yes, it was an emergency.
It is incredibly bright. So when the lights are on us, please know that we are, subjugating ourselves to torture.
We are.
Anything to add?
No, that was really great. Thank you everyone for watching. We really enjoyed talking about our fantasy and our fantasy TBR. And so yeah, there we go everyone. Thank you so much for watching. As always, let us know all of everything. If you like these books, if you want to read these books that are similar, let us know all of that in the comments below. And let us know if you have any feedback on our skit, and because we'd like to do a bit more of that in the future. So if you think there's a better way we could do it, do let us know.
Truth and courage.
The Brothers Gwynne.